paste this into your notes.
have access to it. Across the room the entire time, even though you don't have to hear me. Whatever. Yeah, no, it's my... I've already fixed it, don't worry. Now that being said, some of the voices require me to raise my voice, but anyways, it's fine. Depends how much roleplay there is. There might be none. There might be everything. We don't know. Okay. I need a bigger desk.
No, desk camera. You do not autofocus. Good. That's better. Okay. Gonna have to eat periodically. But such is, such is. Yeah. Alright. Your page pretty much good? Okay.
I hear the sound
All right. So, you are standing currently in the road looking at Tinkerers and Son, fairly modest shop. Yeah, no, you're standing literally in front of it. A small little wooden sign indicating as such. Okay. Walking in the door, you do hear a small bell dinging, indicating your presence. Far, far in the back of the shop, you do hear a deep voice kind of echo out, "Be with you in 1 second." Hear a. Okay. Eventually, a very pompous, well dressed individual does make their presence known. Speckled gray hair does betray a little bit of the age at which the individual is, but otherwise, healthy looking face, spectacles, dressed to the nines. Very. It almost looks like the kind of clothing that you would expect to see at a ball rather than in any sort of shop. More or less. And to what do I owe the pleasure? Well, it depends what exactly it is that you are inquiring about. That I am, yes. I have been known to do such. Might I inquire where you got this box from?
Uh, let's call it a mission of military nature. We found it. The articles. It was enchanted. We took it to another gentleman, arcane locksmith, to unlock it. Found plenty of papers in it, but that still leaves us without a key piece of information, being possibly the owner of the box.
Hmm. Well, I doubt I'll be able to discern the owner. I would probably recommend reading whatever papers were contained in it. That being said, if you wish for me to simply tell you where the box could have come from, I might be able to help.
That certainly would.
All right. My services are not free, of course. It will be a single gold piece to at least start. Any additional information after that, the price will be set.
I'm gonna take 3 gold pieces out and put them on the countertop and be like, "What does this get me?"
Very wide smile comes across. Quite a bit. Let's take a look at this. Picks up the box, brings it over to a relatively clear wooden table. Give me 1 second. Makes his way towards the back of the shop. When he returns, he's donned a slightly less ostentatious, fairly normal leather apron. A series of tools and other devices are affixed to it in various. Adjusting one of his spectacles, he leans in and starts to examine all of the engravings and any areas of the box that have any sort of detail work. Pulling out a small notebook, he starts to take a few individual notes. Let's see. This engraving is not human. It's more in the elvish styling, quite flowery and quite ostentatious, you could say. The gold inlay is a little bit more towards the dwarven side, though they value their metals quite heavily. But It's very possible that it could have been from the elven side as well. Elves, especially elven nobles, have been known to flaunt their wealth in such way. The fact that it's a lockbox does indicate that this would belong to a noble house of some sort. If I was to make an educated guess, I would assume it was probably made in one of the pauses for a second to pull out or to flip through a section of the note to a section of the notebooks. I would assume probably Gerst, the Forbidden City, would probably be one of your best places to check, but unfortunately, good luck getting in there. There could be a few towns that something like this could have been procured. I highly doubt it belonged to any of the nobles here, though. It lacks a certain, how do you say, dignity?
I understand. Do you think there's anyone in town that might deal more specially with this sort of thing?
Well, you are talking to one such gentleman. That is why I'm able to tell you as such.
Fair enough.
Is there anything specific that you are trying to discern?
Realistically, I want to find out either the owner or the maker. Because that might lead us down the road to putting a bit more sense to the documents we found inside.
He kind of goes back to work on the box, examining the insides a little bit more carefully. No, there's no identification, no etching, no lettering, nothing that would indicate the owner, which is fairly common for lockboxes. I should state. As for the maker, hmm, I confess I'm not as in with the elves as some of the others might be, but if you try potentially somewhere like the Gunnergath Spires, or if you manage to get into one of the elvish cities themselves, I'm sure someone there might be able to tell you a little more about who might specifically have made this box. It is definitely more on the elvish side, though.
Oh, thank you. That has been quite helpful.
Your 3 gold got as such. Now, is there anything else I can provide for you? Any commodities or oddities that you are interested in?
What do you have of interest to a simple soldier like?
He takes a look, kind of examining. Well, I don't think you're in need of clothing. Maybe a hat, but nothing like that. Starts to examine. Are you still carrying your shield?
Not on me, no. I just have my sword on me at the moment.
Okay.
Wait, would it just be kind of video game convention where you just always have all your shit on you? Or
As long as you have the weight to carry it, yeah. Shields, small buckler shields like what you currently have, would normally be strapped to the back or something similar, but if you have your bag with you, you can also adhere it to that.
yeah, I guess I would.
Okay. Much traveling in your future?
Certainly.
Hmm.
Especially if this box comes from where you say it might.
Well, maybe something like this. And he pulls out from one of the shelves, he pulls a very simple but robust looking bag. It almost looks like a saddle bag. This right here has been enchanted by yours truly. It contains, it can contain quite a bit of. Well, give me your sword and I'll show.
I'll unbuckle it from its baldric and hand it to him, sheath and all.
Okay. He takes it and The bag itself looks like it can be attached to a belt or slung over your shoulder in a similar manner to what your current bag is. But he takes the sword and he just starts to put it in. And as it reaches a point where you think it's going to just punch through the bottom of the bag, but he just continues all the way through. And eventually the sword is gone. And the bag remains exactly the same shape, exactly the same size that it was previously.
So it's basically Hermione's bag.
Does Hermione have a bag like that?
Yeah, that's kind of half one of the plot points of like the entire seventh book is the amount of shit she can fit in that bag.
Yeah, I never paid attention to that, but sure. Yeah.
Very interesting. Why did you come up with the thing like this?
I certainly didn't come up with it. I just designed various ones. He gestures over to where he plucked the bag from. There is probably about somewhere between 6 and 10 various sized, various styled bags, different colors, different materials. Some are leather, some are more of a softer, more flowing material that almost looks translucent. Some of it's all very different stylings.
This is very interesting.
Well, one does not become a tinkerer for no apparent reason. My brother is much more the charitable type, but I see the profit that can be made from it, so why let my talents go to waste?
Fair enough. What is this bag worth?
A bag like that? Well, it can go upwards of several hundred gold, but it depends on what size, what capacity, all the rest. Do you have a specific size or budget in mind?
One that can double as either a shoulder bag or a saddle bag in that size. Perhaps.
A specific capacity that you would like to be able to, a specific weight bearing or anything like that?
Um. What's my current level of amount of shit?
Equipment would have it.
What would you say, Drew?
Well, I can tell you that a real bag of holding, or enchanted something like this, will easily cost you upwards of the thousands of gold pieces.
All right, well, fuck that.
Kind of catches as soon as he names the price, which for this specific one is 2,500 gold. Kind of catches the look. Maybe not today, but
Not the moment, I think. I think my bag will do me just fine for the moment.
But don't forget, there's plenty of things here that could come of great value.
I need a few more healing kits, medical kits. Certainly will be needing that for misadventures along the way.
Well, I don't personally deal in such trivial things as stabilizing or healing kits. However, I do have a plethora of healing potions if that's what you're in.
Certainly take a look.
Excellent, excellent. He brings you around to kind of the front portion where the sales would normally end up going through. Pulls up 2 or 3 different vials. This one is your standard healing potion. Not too much for it, but it'll easily heal at least minor or tempered wounds. It will also bring anyone who is currently down for the count up for at least a little while longer. This one is, he puts a slightly larger version for it. This is far more powerful. It will handle a majority of major wounds and things like that. This one right here, this one is a little bit more, how do you say, stamina based.
Hmm. All right.
The price tag, as you would expect, the normal healing around 50 gold. The greater, you could be looking upwards of 100. And the potion of stamina would likely run you at around 60 to 70 gold, depending on how many uses you would like out of it.
What would you say to 40 gold for the healing potion? But I have some clientele that I could bring in around here that might be repeat customers.
Make a persuasion check.
12. What's my persuasion? 0. Fuck, 12.
45, simply because you're intriguing. We don't see many Vidalkin around here. And yes, bring your compatriots along next time.
No, thank you.
Do we have a deal?
I think so.
Excellent. 1 healing potion. I will send this to you on the face of book. Or you can just write this down. Common healing potion. You regain 2d4 plus 2 health. Additionally, if you do want to write this down, healing potions, both forcing someone else to use it as well as using it yourself, do only count as a bonus action.
All right.
Okay. So, hands you the healing potion, starts to put the other one's way. Pray tell, what is your name?
Arduin the Truk.
Has a noble ring to it. I think I have an eye for this. Well, Arduin, we shall be seeing you and your compatriots soon then.
Indeed.
Have a great day.
You too.
All right, taking your box, making your way out the door. Day is still young. There's still plenty for you to do if you would like.
When shall I be going on my little vision quest or whatever for my archetype subclass or whatever you want to call it?
Don't worry.
Frankly, I just killed 2 birds with 1 stone, which I didn't expect to be able to, so I'm fast running out of things to do.
You don't need to repair anything, or like your shield when you first picked it up was kind of fucked. Your armor could probably use at least a little bit of mending if you would like to. Oh wait, no, you swapped.
Yeah, the armor of glamour,
Yeah.
brand new shit.
So you could also sell any equipment that you have picked up that you don't need anymore if you would need to do that. If there's any research or anything that you wanted to accomplish, there's more than that. Captain Alden also mentioned that he is probably going to have work. So if you wanted to inquire with him about anything, if there's any questions that that Arduin has about the city or anything that you would like to learn, I mean, there's
All right,
the city is
bookstore and an
yours.
armor.
Okay. What are you doing? What are you going to the bookstore for?
I'm gonna take out a book on the history of the mouse folk. I want to know everything I can about that, and possibly if there's a registrar of noble houses.
Okay. It's fairly easy to find a bookshop within the coins. Nobles, for nobles' books and other
Well, obviously, they're more
luxuries.
literate, thus they actually have a reason to go to a bookshop.
Correct. Yes. Um, Fletcher General Store. It'd be less of a general store and more of a. Just a straight bookshop. Nothing additive or anything like that. Correct.
Pardon?
Just a generic bookshop. Correct.
We'll start there.
Okay. So the first bookshop that you would find is Madame Finks's. It is a very glamorous and very easy to notice shop. A lot of any wood that is there has been completely painted white, and you guess based upon just looking at painted several times over, so that the various coats as they wear down don't ruin the effect. It is the sun itself seems to just light up the entire area, and when you first see it, you almost shield your eyes before glancing back. It's a very clever marketing trick. Entering in, it is not more the same. The interior is darkly and sparsely lit, mostly by candles and other such fixtures, creating a very not warm but not cold. It's a very fine balance. You see various couches or other amenities for sitting scattered all over the place, as well as bookshelves that are lined with various different tomes, all meticulously organized, both by your guessing height, but also by some sort of unknown um, sorting schematic. A slightly pudgy young woman makes her way directly over to you. Frilly kind of pink dress. What can we do for you?
So, I'm looking to inquire if you have books on certain subjects.
Well, Nana Fixes has many things to offer you. What are you looking for specifically?
Start in the history section.
History.
One on the history of the mouse folk.
The mouse folk. Well, let me see what I can find for you. She kind of darts over into one specific section. Very deliberately just goes, no. Pulls a book out. General history of the mouse folk. Yes. Hands you a tome. It is not really titled. The book itself appears to be almost painted over. The cover itself is devoid of anything itself. You're not entirely sure why, but
Is this a volume that's already been in circulation?
Several times, yes.
Don't worry,
Understand?
it still reads fine.
Dude just plopped himself.
Okay.
Anything else I can get you?
Yes, this one might be a little more commonplace. Registrar of Noble Family.
Oh, well, you might find that more in the God's Library. That's a little more, less history and more current affairs.
I understand.
The court library is near the center, but you bear in mind you will need permission or access from either a noble or some similar person. Generally, the common folk are not generally allowed there. And based upon your hand, you probably won't be able to just waltz in there.
I understand.
Oh, don't take it personally. I wouldn't be able to get in there either.
A rather old system that doesn't allow a bookkeeper in the library.
Well, I am just a little bookkeeper now, aren't I? Now, just the one tome for you today.
Yeah, it's just the one.
All right. Being that it is slightly less than pristine condition, it will only run you about 10 silver pieces.
Much obliged.
Okay. So, you have a Mousefolk history book, and make sure to mark off that 30 silver. As soon as it's paid up, she hands you the book.
Do make sure to come back, though. We always appreciate the business and the coins.
Indeed, indeed. Thank you.
The pleasure is mine. Have a great day.
Yes, sir.
All right. What was your next stop?
Armor.
Okay. There are a number of ornate armors that are definitely focused around nobility, dueling, those kind of aspects. I assume you're looking more for the practical side.
Yes, very much so.
Making your way further into the coins and kind of noticing the way that the shops start to not so much degrade, but shorten to the point where you find yourself looking at more pop-up stalls and weaving your way through the crowds. You eventually do find a number of different blacksmiths and armorers in a large kind of pop-up stall marketplace. It's quite busy, quite bustling. The
An
blacksmiths
armor would not be in a pop-up stall. They would be in an established building. They'd need a full workshop and facility.
for repairs.
Every.
Well, are you looking for someone who sells or someone who's repairing?
Generally, who sells, makes, and repairs. There is very rarely a middleman or just a distributor. You do one, you do all.
Okay, so you're looking for a shop, not so much a generic repair.
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, they do exist for the common folk who mostly have to be able to get small repairs and things done to their everyday tools. Anyways. Let's see. What would you find first? Probably the block and anvil, I want to say. That's a little bit more close to, yeah. So eventually you will find you would find a specific establishment. They are a lot more open. The doors themselves, whereas with the other shops, they are normal-looking establishment doors, open, close, all the rest with a little bell. This one appears to be more of like almost a farm gate that kind of just opens up entirely. You can already feel the heat emanating out from the doors as you make your way up to the front of the establishment. Inside, you hear the clanging and working of metal. There is a number of individuals. There's about 3 to 4 different anvils that can be occupied, as well as 2 to 3 forges. It's not a small establishment by any stretch. There is a bit of a lineup for different people, mostly soldiers and guards. You take note of, and so if you get in line, it'll probably be like 15, 30 minutes while they start to take while one person takes orders and hands off the various requests to different smiths within the area.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The journeyman clerks, the apprentices work, and the master observes.
That's actually a very, very good way of putting it. Eventually, making your way to the front, there is a young, blonde, very hot under the collar human male who stands in front of you. Right, what can we do for you?
I need repairs done to this shield. Need the whole top section probably filled in, re-wooded, and the entire. And well, I guess while you're at it, you might as well reband the outer edge.
All right. Let's see here. Cost of materials plus time. It's gonna cost you at least 5 gold. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. Is that everything for you?
Yeah, that should be good.
All right. Come back. Should be done by tomorrow.
Sounds good.
What's your name?
Arduin the Truk.
Quickly pulls out a quill from some ink. Quickly jots down your name. Definitely misspelled. Shield, 5 gold piece. All right, half up front.
Yeah.
All right, 2 gold, 5 silver.
I'm sorry. This is really funny.
What?
Hacking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If need be, send for me at the dancing route.
Oh, no worries. We'll hold on to the shield at least until you come pick it up. Just don't forget about it.
I understand. Have a good day.
Oh, one more thing. Shields definitely been used. Did you want any specific details or anything done to the front of it? Are you representing a banner or anything like that?
No, not at all.
Okay, no worries.
Just restain the patch up the paint job. Match it to the existing color.
Got it. All right. Next. All right. Make sure not to forget that. Shield will be ready at the same time roughly tomorrow. At this point, given the sheer amount of distance that you would have been traversing, it's been at least 3 or 4 hours. So this would put you right at around, 2 or 3 in the afternoon. More or less peak busyness.
Oh, I'm gonna go talk to the captain.
All right. That is a solid hour's walk.
Not surprised.
So going straight, do you just go straight up from the coins, straight back towards the Aslanti Keep?
Can't see a reason not to.
Okay. Make a general insight check just to make sure you don't get lost.
9 plus 10.
10 total?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's exactly what you needed. Um, it's not the way the roads are. It's more just the sheer amount of people that makes it difficult to keep track of exactly where you're going. Once in a while, you do get bustled around and kind of jostled, thrown for a bit of a loop. A lot of the houses and a lot of the area starts to not only just look the same, but you at some point start to go, I could have sworn I saw that house like 4 blocks earlier. There's just so much density that it's hard to keep track of everything. Eventually, though, you do find yourself in front of what looks to be just a enormous pit. There's a massive marble spire that juts out from a center platform surrounding the pit with 3 distinct bridges leading directly into it. Very ornate, very gaudy in appearance. There's a huge amount of white and a huge amount of gold that seems to have gone into the structure. Armed guards around the edge keep anyone who doesn't look incredibly important from crossing the bridge themselves. And a quick inquiry with one of them, you get pointed immediately into the direction of the Aslanti Keep, and you're able to eventually, after about an hour of travel, probably closer to an hour and a half, make your way to the keep itself. Familiar 2 guards at the front don't even stop you this time as you waltz your way in.
All right. So you're making my way to the office.
Okay. Knocking on the door, you do hear, come in, come in, come in.
Elizabeth, here to see your boss again.
Well,
Not as urgent as yesterday.
I dare say he could use a bit of a break. All right, 1 second. Quickly knocks, sticks her head in. Captain? Yes. All right. Closes the door. Give him a few minutes. He's just sorting something out.
I understand.
Did you want anything? Tea or?
Just some water, thank you.
She leaves the room and eventually comes back with a little tray. There is some a pot of tea on it, and she quickly hands you a small glass of water and takes the tea to her own desk, going back to a few documents and starting to copy over orders or whatever it is that she's currently working on. After about say about 30 minutes or so, you do hear the side door to Captain Alden's his office rattle as he opens up. Ah, Arduin. Ah. Well, come in. Ushers you in, closes the door behind you. Takes a seat. Didn't expect to see you so soon. What can I do for you?
No need to trouble yourself too much. It'll be quick.
Very well.
I need, let's call it admission to the whatever that library was called.
The court library?
Yes,
Okay.
just a bit of research that might be helpful, useful.
Seems to chuckle as he leans down. Your compatriot actually asked for permission earlier today. Well, far be it from me to inquire exactly what the mouse folk are investigating, but are you now helping this mouse folk with their investigation?
Not actively, but there's entirely a chance that we might be onto the same thing. For recording onto there. the stream. I think.
I am live streaming, Sam. I am using technology. Otherwise, yes, it normally would be face to face. But anyways,
Mm-hmm.
1 second. Like 90.
Or screw this. I am opening front.
Here, I'll open. Nothing.
Also
Okay.
opening doors.
Opening
Oh, I'm-
doors, closing things. Well, as much as I would love for this investigation to be over quick, I do have to inquire, what exactly do you need access to the court library for?
Records.
Of?
People and things. Possibly census records.
As in the noble houses, or as in the military? What are you looking for?
It depends. I have.
Wait, there might be an extra side.
And I don't care. Yes?
I have many names to look up and no idea what rank they bear.
Well, let's start here. What names are you looking for?
Captain, this may require some discretion, and I don't believe there's any harm that could come from me digging through some of those records. I'm not exactly from around here, so wouldn't know what to do with half of them unless they directly pertain to my inner lookings. Can I roll persuasion?
Yes.
That one either. Please be fucking good. Okay, is 13 plus whatever gonna cut it? 13 plus 0, 13. Is that gonna cut it?
Not quite.
Fuck.
He's the captain of the city, man. He's supposed to be weary and questioning of things. So a Vidalcan who went on one mission with the mouse folk is now helping said mouse folk potentially investigate and wishes to look at this city's court's records and otherwise for things that he doesn't wish to tell me about. Is that correct?
Not quite, but one could put it that way if they were trying to make it sound negative.
Look, I'll be frank, Arduin. I don't know you very well. You're a mercenary. And while you
Who's
have
done
worked-
quite good work for you thus far.
Yes, I was getting to that. You have done work for me, but trust is something that needs to be earned in this city. So, how about this? I don't trust the mouse folk as far as I can throw them, and unfortunately, I haven't been keeping the best of shape. Do me the favor of informing me of what exactly they are investigating.
Well, put it this way, I'm probably not looking at the same thing that Lil Clover is. In fact, I pulled out some information on the mousefolk themselves because I want to know a bit.
Very smart. Keep your enemies, friends close and enemies closer. That means.
And frankly, it might be of use for me to find, let's say, any mousefolk who do reside in the city.
Just answer me this: what are you guys? What is your group actually looking for currently? Tura belongs to, I'm sure you're aware of this by now, but she belongs to a interesting noble house that is renowned for, shall we say, not espionage, but social information. Being involved with her is questionable at best. So, why should I aid someone who might be aiding her? If you can answer that, I will give you permission.
Because I want to know exactly what that little ring of hers as she flashes around and gets past all the doors means.
Oh, well,
That's one thing.
I can answer you that easy enough. That is the Salih House sigil.
Put it frankly, I did years of study myself, and I do prefer to trust the words on paper. Nothing against you personally. I'm just, maybe call it something of a scholar at heart underneath gruff characteristics.
A deal then. Every time you come to ask for permission, you must answer 3 questions of mine.
Will these 3 questions be anything and everything or of a particular nature?
Whatever I'm currently interested in, it's. I am attempting to keep track of everyone, and your new little group has lasted a little longer than I initially anticipated. So, it will be mostly just, what are you up to? Case in point, 3 questions that I have for you. What did you find in the box? What have you learned about said box? And where did you find the box?
The box we found in a bandit camp amongst mostly other worthless articles. Tiny trinkets and pocket change worth some money. Plenty of weapons, none of them high grade, but plenty of them lethal enough.
And you found in it?
Papers, of which we're currently trying to figure out what the hell any of it means. None of it's come up as anything worthwhile yet.
Any specific nature of those papers, though? Are they just letters or anything specific?
Some of them seem to be letters. Most of them seem to be written by at least decently educated people. Certainly not just peasant script.
Tilter, I want to at least to be able to review that information myself as well. And lastly, last question. What did I just say it was? What was in the box? Where did you find the box? What have you found?
What have I found out about the box?
Yeah.
Taking it just to various workshops of the last 2 days. I think it was definitely an arcane enchanted. May have been elven in nature, in origin, but we're still working.
Interesting. Very well. Pulls out a scrap of paper, quickly jots down a few things on it, signs that, hands you a slip. All it says is Court Library Permission, Captain Alden. There's your permission. One thing, Arduin. Allies are hard to come by. I would like to count you as one eventually, but for now, just make sure you understand that some of the people that you are currently friends with may not be your friend forever.
I've known all sorts of characters in my life. Men like you, men like them. And I'm more than willing to give people a chance, but also willing to not trust people, so you don't.
Well, maybe I can change your mind in a little. Anyways, go get your questions answered. We'll talk at some point.
All right. You have a good.
Making your way out of the Aslanti Keep.
Oh, I was gonna stop by the secretary and just say when he next has work for us, send either for the others at the whatever the fuck they're called, Erland People's Camp thing, farmers, or for me at Dancing Route.
That would be the Olmos Entertainment Troupe. Yes, I can easily do that. Have a good rest of your day, Arduin. Making your way out of the Aslanti Keep, do you head straight for the library, or at this point it's getting probably around 5 or 6?
Yeah, no, I'll save that for tomorrow.
Okay. So just heading back to the dancing route, or making stops along the way?
I think I'll start heading back there.
Okay. Roads have started to clear up a little bit. More night crowd than marketplace currently resides on the streets themselves. You can start to hear the telltale signs of tavern and music starting up as you make your way through the various different districts, eventually ending in the foreign quarter where the dancing route resides. The front woman is the tavern does recognize you as you make your way in, reminding you not to forget to pay for the night if you are staying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Straight to bed, or are you going to partake in the city?
I'm gonna stay up at the tavern and start just flipping through and reading the book.
Okay. So, how long do you spend reading?
Probably while eating for maybe another 3-4 hours.
Oh, geez. Okay.
I'm guessing it's a fairly decent sized book.
Yeah, but 3 hours of reading by a literate person can still yield, depending on if you're a speed reader or not. Wait.
I was trying to be a monk
Okay.
when I was younger, so certainly study is not a foreign concept.
Okay. Is there anything specific that you're trying to lock in, or do you just want a general?
I want to know more, and if anything piques my interest or might be handy for later.
Okay. So, it's very clear that the book is written by a mouse folk as an explanation for other races that are attempting to learn about them. It goes into great detail about how the mouse folk
Sounds like the anti-Polybius.
the mouse folk, it's their life is spent close to the ground. They don't have a capital city, they don't have a vast kingdom, towns with rulers or anything like that. They spent most of their early lives carving a place for themselves in cities of larger races, or in the relatively untamed wildlands between the Ashen Mountain Range and the Cornfen River. They form very tight knit communities. Every member is expected to contribute to the success. Some mouse folk are known to study skills or trades to support. Others join what is called the Meadow Guard, which is their military force, originally as a defensive and now one of the larger scouting and dare say peacekeeping forces within that general area. Their settlements can be found in some of the most unlikely and inhospitable places, generally deep within forests and other places where the natural foliage will help conceal their small towns. The nomad tribes are still active, but they generally are working within the forgotten corners of the world. City slums, very, very scorching deserts, Arctic tundras, things like that. Most mouse folk are generally either living within cities or within the small towns and places that have cropped up within their given territory. They are very big traders. Their caravans, their armored caravans, are renowned for their ability to traverse vast distances, far greater distances than the majority of other caravans that currently exist. They are very well. Yes.
He's watching, it seems, a very twisted teen smutty movie.
I'm confused. Okay. The writer does talk about the different sects of the mouse folk society. There's predominantly two main portions. Mouse folk that are known as soft paws usually are finding immense talent for cultivating cotton, hemp, and other things. They're generally living in modernized or are more active in world events. The Meadow Guard, on the other hand, do hearken a little bit more to their nomadic identity and have been patrolling their borders and territories for quite a while, though they do have what seems to be a alliance with gnomes and halflings that also have cities and other small towns within that vast kind of area. One of the key events that kind of catapulted the Meadow Guard into being one of the most successful militias was being credited with scouting out and preventing several key conflicts, including something that you're familiar with, the Draugr incursion and the Draugr blockade, or the Dryad blockades that had attempted to dissuade and otherwise stop trade between several of the different races. That also does go into.
Wow. He just got fucking brained with a bat. Anyways.
They place great value on written accounts, histories, legends, and so something you've noticed is Clover is very diligent about writing in a small journal every chance that she seems to get between rests and otherwise. The book, at least. What?
The lore.
Yeah.
The fucking lore,
Yeah.
man. You worked hard on this.
Yes,
Mhm.
this has been a long time in making. Years. The journals and records that they keep of their different deeds, as well as things that happens, are given to scribes that basically keep a record of the entire history of the mouse folk. It doesn't really go into too much detail about where or what the records consist of, but it does talk quite heavily about their love and a bit of an obsession with written accounts and histories. It also does state that they do have a full history of their race hidden away somewhere, although it's more implied than anything. Anything about that you specifically wanted to narrow in on?
I'm frankly just more kind of just skimming through it to get a better idea, because I know bits and pieces about them, specific tidbits, specifically military things, but I want to get a broader overview.
Okay. Does that more or less answer the gist of the questions that you would have had, or is there a specific thing that you're looking for?
Probably, but I can always dig a little later.
Okay. At this point, the dancing route, its name is not all for show. By the time you've reached about an hour and a half in, the tavern is alight with music and entertainment. There is a bardic person who's currently occupying the small stage, playing a relatively upbeat tune that several people have taken to dancing with. There is a large space allowing for this. By the end of your 3 hours, the tavern itself is starting to become at least a little bit packed. Most of the tables, as well as all of the bar stools and everything, have been filled up. There's no one like standing around aimlessly. Everyone's kind of seated, but the place is mostly at max capacity.
All right.
So, at this point, it is well in the evening. You would have got there at around like 5 or 6, somewhere in there. And 3 hours puts you somewhere in the 8 or 9 in the evening sort of category.
All right. And I'll just maybe have one more drink, and if nothing happens, go off to bed.
Okay. Things do happen, but things pertaining to you, not so much. Food and drink cost you about, if you're having 2 drinks, probably about 2 silver. No, wait, actually, you're staying here, so accommodation, food, and drink is included, at least within that gold piece that you did pay. So, yeah, as long as you remove the 1 gold piece, yeah, 2 drinks, food, easy done.
All right.
So, to bed?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Full night's rest, same as before. You are awoken by a knock at your door.
I'm gonna get up, just kind of place my sword beside the door, and then open it.
It's a small kid. Ashen blonde hair, kind of looking at you. Sir, Captain Alden requests your present at some point today.
Understood. Anything else?
No. That's all.
Give him, I don't know, 3 copper.
His eyes go wide as you hand him the 3 copper. Thank you, sir. He just runs away, clutching the 3 copper. That's a hearty tip.
Well, I feel bad about not tipping the last messenger boy.
Breakfast is served in normal fashion. Typical spread, nothing too fancy, but you are in a nicer establishment, so the food is at least garnished with a little bit of fresh fruit as well as spices. Not the bland drivel that you're used to within the compounds and confines of the military. The day is yours.
All right. Drew, how much longer is this one gonna take?
As long as you want. If you want to just brevity through the entire thing, totally fine. Otherwise,
All right. What's closer to me, keep or the library?
definitely the library.
Library.
Okay. Asking around, you try and discern exactly where the library itself is, and a lot of people point you in the direction of the gaudy, massive spire that you had encountered yesterday Arriving at the large pit sometime in the early stages of the morning, the guards themselves merely ask for identification as well as the slip that you quickly hand them, giving you permission, quickly stepping aside and allowing you to cross the bridge towards the structure itself. The building itself appears to be made up of several different buildings, all various different stylings and architectural roots. It looks like an amalgamation of like 3 to 5 different buildings with just a massive fucking spire stuck straight in the center. Definitely not the most classy, but there's a certain intrigue about it. Not just from its size, but just the amalgamation of the different cultures and styles that you see. Making your way in the one door, you are greeted with a massive fucking library.
All good.
What's the largest library you've ever been to? Like New York or anything like that?
No, never been to New York. I don't think I've never actually been in a really big library before, aside from maybe Calgary.
Really? Interesting.
When you go to New York with your kid, go to the Strand. It's fucking crazy. They have like go to the upper stores and they have all the old books. It's oh my god.
Yeah.
Go to New York.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I know what a big library looks.
Okay. It definitely has a governmental flair to it, if that makes any sense to you. Walking in, you're greeted with by several what appear to be interns, various people asking if there's a specific piece of literature or anything that you're looking for. Which brings me to the question: what are you looking for?
That's registered. Census record.
Okay, so basically a record of all the noble houses?
Well, I mean, a census record would contain that more probably, but yeah.
All right, I'm not gonna lie, I've never actually seen a census record before. So what information would be on something like that?
You filled out a census form before.
Have I?
Yes, there was just one 2 years ago.
Okay, well if I did, I don't remember it.
Frankly, censuses haven't changed much for the last 3,000 years.
I'm sure the name has at least changed once or twice. Anyways, what?
No, like literally, the name census is derived from the Roman office of the censor, whose job was to maintain the citizen rolls.
Okay, can you at least just answer what information would be prevalent on that?
Families, members of families, and things like occupations would be listed amongst there.
Okay, so noble family record. Got it. Or just like generic family records. Because that would be fucking huge.
Well, the census rolls, but I'm guessing in a society like this, it would be separated probably by social standing.
Okay, so nobility records. Got it. Okay. There have been a lot of noble houses over the years, but the current noble houses, or at least the ones that are recognized as the head noble houses within the area, are House Cannith, House Elige, House Manny, House Vilmo, House Ravenor, and House Salee.
Computer access Salee.
Okay. So. Silly. So. So the first thing that becomes very apparent to you is that the noble houses, while you're very positive that there is some sort of matriarchal ruler within the city itself, especially for the race itself, the records themselves seem to show that the noble houses either control and or are responsible for the majority of everything within the city. So House Salih specifically is referenced many times when it comes to shipping and or trading, specifically from the sea routes as well as the airship routes. That seems to be the main thing that the noble house has been has made most of their money and most of their power based upon.
So they're mostly merchants, not landowners.
Yes. However, there is record that they do own the docks themselves.
Yeah, so there's a token amount of land at least.
Token amount of land within the city. There is.
What were you saying, Sam? Waterboard each. That's a very good question, Sam. What the fuck is this movie?
Half the members of the town have all their fucking social media and text leaked, and then they just devolve into like anarchy.
It's beginning to look a bit like The Purge. Anyways, we can continue this once we're done. That's not going to happen for a while. I'm currently in a library, Sam.
Anyways.
We'll get there.
I don't know. I never checked. Generally, there's like 2 or 3 people, but I mean, yeah, I know. No, it's on YouTube. Just go D&D behind the screen. I'm sure it pops up. Anyways, yeah, token land, if anything. If you want to trace that back, you can find exactly ownership papers and everything from back there. That kind of information is generally publicly available.
Sorry, cut out there for a second.
You're not entirely sure if it's just token ownership or if they actually do fully own the entire docking area. You can find that information out if you would like. That would be publicly available.
Yeah, that'd be in the land records.
Correct. Yes.
All right.
Anything?
Tura and her parents specifically. Let's go.
Okay. So, current living Salih members. There is Master Philip Salih. There is Mistress Sylvia Salih. And there is record of one current daughter, Tura Salih.
All right. Age and listed.
Sorry, I fucked up. One daughter, one son. That's what I meant to say.
Mm-hmm.
So Tura Salih and their son, Trent Salih.
Trent.
Yeah.
All right. What is Tura's listed age and occupation?
No listed occupation, just that she's a member of a noble house. As for her age, it lists just under 3 decades, or at least her date of birth puts her just below 3 decades.
All right. And what was that geezer from yesterday, the owner of Tinkers and Sons? Gavin's brother.
Dark. I believe that was Darkwing. Yeah, I have Paul Darkwing and Gavin Darkwing. They are not listed as a currently in power noble house.
But they would be on the citizen rolls because I'm going to try and search their citizen rolls for them because I would imagine they're probably citizens.
Correct. It does take you a little bit of time, but you do find records of the Darkwing family, specifically the 2 remaining, Gavin and Paul. Neither of them are married. Neither of them have any kids. And both of them, based on their birth records, don't have many decades left.
All right. And would there be any sorted category by race?
Interestingly enough, no. There is only records of humans.
Only humans.
The only time any mention of any other race pops up is in reference to adopted children and or members of the noble house who have adopted or included or otherwise
Would there be any sort of listing of resident foreigners?
would you have access to that?
Because I would probably then include much more than non-humans if there was resident foreigners.
It would probably be something that would be available, but it's incredibly small.
No matter.
You get the distinct feeling Manuson City of Lamps, as in the human city, one of the last, or the last human city, is a very, 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 very heavily human populated city.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But still, just for tax purposes, you'd think to keep a non-citizen record as well. Specifically permanent ones of certain.
They do exist. It's just the number is substantially smaller. We're talking we're not talking thousands, we're talking hundreds.
All right, well, under P for Pipsqueak. Both citizen and non-citizen then.
Pipsqueak is not listed as a permanent resident or any of the sort.
Hmm. Remind me, what the fuck was the name of that elf right from session 0 that was with the troll? I don't actually have her name on me at the moment.
She introduced herself as Merlair.
Oh, Pursra, that was it.
Oh, Pursra. Okay.
Does she exist in the non-citizen foreigners?
She
list?
does. Yes.
All right.
If you're searching for actually, she never gave you her last name, did she?
I don't remember, did she?
No, she didn't. They all introduced themselves. Perla, Cog. Yeah.
Well, given that you said this list isn't that big, I think I can probably search the whole damn thing for elf person.
Okay. It's going to take at least a few hours, though.
It's hundreds of entries, not thousands.
So going through every single entry against Perla, I guess that wouldn't actually take that.
That'd
For
take
only-
maybe 45 minutes
For only about
if I'm being really
340 odd names. Yeah. I guess that wouldn't take too long. Okay. Eventually, you do find her, yes. Anything specific you're looking, or just for the existence?
same information. Age, occupation, and I guess in this case, last name.
Okay. Cartwright. She was 26 years old. And occupation was listed as freelance mercenary.
Does it have a place of origin since she's a non-resident foreigner or a non-citizen foreigner?
For her, where would she have been before this? I guess just a generic. She was a full elf, so a generic. It would be generically listed as, likely the Forbidden City. Gears, the Forbidden City. Yeah.
Forbidden City?
Yeah, the Forbidden City of Gjorst.
Roger that. I think that just puts most of it together then.
Okay.
I'm gonna head off to the captain's.
Okay. Arriving. Elizabeth does greet you and apologizes that Captain Alden has stepped out, at least for a little bit. She does hand over a small note that he had left. The note basically indicating that he would like for you to meet up with a couple of his superiors at the training ground, potentially for work and otherwise.
All right. Do that.
Okay. So, if you want to write this down, entering the training yard of the Aslanti Keep, you are greeted almost immediately by a few different people, but specifically one Jarnet Trugust, a young female knight up and coming in the ranks. She where is it? Where did I put it? Jesus Christ, I have way too many documents. I opened up like 5 different documents for this. Jesus Christ. There we are. She greets you. Ah, Arduin. Captain Alden informed me that you were the one that helped our...
Oh, shit.
What? Oh, it's still the movie. Okay.
Bitches get shot.
Okay, whatever. Captain Alden informed me that...
Sorry, it's
This should not be that shocking. And that bitch is out of ammo.
Captain Alden informed me that you were the one that led the new recruits in the battle on the bridge about a week ago. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I was curious if you would be able to help me. The gods are not used to that large scale of combat, and I'm interested in what kind of setup you were currently using against the bandits themselves that proved at least sufficient to rally them off.
For starters, high positioning, put men up high, gives them better sight lines, farther you can see the pair. That's probably more valuable than any single piece of combat tactics.
The woman in front of you is young, and the moment that you start giving her advice, she quickly scrambles to try and pull out a notebook, and using one leg balance starts to try and take messy notes. All right, and
It's colorful. It's very colorful.
yay. Specifically, in regards to how you managed to fend off a larger number, it was reported that you had a smaller force. How did you How did you force them into an engagement like that was favorable to you, even with archers on the high ground?
Terrain. See, a bridge is a funnel. They can't use the whole numbers if they can't spread themselves out wide.
This chain of questioning continues for at least the better part of about an hour, as she kind of extracts every bit of information from you as humanly possible. During this point, she eventually gets you to walk over. There's a number of men who are currently doing drills, and you get the distinct sense that Captain Alden has, well, set you up to at least be a bit of a teacher to her.
Where's your captain?
He said he was going to be off for most of today. Not sure why.
Funny. He said he wanted to see me.
Well, he did say that you would be coming by to assist us with this.
Is that what he said?
Yes,
Huh.
that is what he said. Yes.
I wasn't exactly appraised of such, but I'm certainly willing to help.
Well, I don't know if you can tell. I'm relatively new at this.
Indeed.
So all the help is really, really well appreciated. How much are you willing to help them?
Well, I'll certainly try and bill the captain for it later.
Okay.
If I'm here, I might as well do it.
Okay. It takes, well, it does last for almost the entire day at this point. The recruits are, or at least the newer ones, are huffing and puffing and very much out of breath by the time you've worked them through a number of different drills and kind of helped out. They're rough, and to her credit, she's at least seemingly been groomed to take over this leadership position. But your aid has helped, and over the course of working with the men, you eventually do, over the course of an entire day, successfully figure out your rallying cry.
All right.
So you are now trained up with your archetype. You have
Archetype.
access to archetype, whatever. You have access to rally cry, and this somewhat new squad. Oh my dear lord. Consisting of a total of 4, 8, 12, Yeah, 3 lines of 4 plus 1. Do recognize you as at least someone who is competent in leadership. So if you would like to add them to your allies or someone that you could potentially call on, you are free to.
I'll add Jarnet to the list.
Okay. Everyone breaks up. Jarnette gives you a last thanks before making her way out with the rest of her men. Courtyard is mostly just filled with people who are going through basic training routines and things like that at this point. So the rest of the day is yours.
Oh, I'm still trying to find the fucking captain.
All right. Walking back up, Elizabeth sheepishly answers the door. Still looking for the captain, I assume?
Yes, indeed.
Mm.
Seemed he had a little task for me that I wasn't initially appraised of. I'll speak to him about that.
Oh, yes, he did leave something for you. Walking back to her desk, she does pull out a small sack of coins as well as a note. Hands them both to you. He said that, well, hopefully to consider this as a favor between friends.
Right. Will do. Will do.
Anything else I can do for you, Arduin?
No. But again, if he does have more work for me and the others, again, please let us know.
Absolutely. You will be our first contact. Well, probably, anyways.
Good.
All right. Anything else you're going to do today, or just back to the dancing route and...
Yeah,
Okay.
go back. Maybe kill a bit more time reading that book.
Okay.
Also, how much money was there?
Another 5 gold pieces. Some do note that's a lot of money to be getting for this relatively small amount of work that you did do.
Day job.
You get the feeling, based upon the note that was included in it, this was probably more of a somewhat of a reaching out. The note itself is fairly simplistic. It does say, it's from the captain. It reads, "Thank you for helping out this number of recruits. We have more and more troops coming in, and it's likely that several of them are going to at least require, several of the units are going to require additional training. I do appreciate any help that you can take on there, and being that allies are sparse around here once in a while, it's always nice to know who I can trust." You get the gist that the 5 gold was probably also a, maybe not a you owe me, but a maybe a small bribe of some sort.
Bit of a primer.
Yep, that would be a good way of putting it. Making your way back to the dancing route and spending the rest of the day reading. Anything specific that you're looking for in the book? Okay. Eventually, you reach parts about several famous meadow guard, as well as various number of. Where's my notes on this? There we are. Jesus Christ, I have way too many. As well as a number of different intricacies. They start to go more into the Meadow Guard, and how they are more or less born into the Meadow Guard. Families of the Meadow Guard very rarely have members of the family who go into non-military related positions. It's very much a when you're born into it, you're born into it. There are a number of different positions as well as rankings, ranging from just common foot soldier all the way up to general. There's also their scouts, which are very renowned. There's many high-ranking meadow striders, which are basically their forefront, let's call them premier scouts. There were a number of different heroes and other people who are talked about in great length about the things that they have managed to accomplish. Ashwin, as an example, who infiltrated and scouted out the Draugr incursion, is talked about quite extensively. Tarin led a small band of meadow guards and defeated a roaming goblin horde, which was considered almost unthinkable, being that goblins and mousefolk at the time at least were considered inadequate in open field combat. Number of different stories like that.
Holy shit. Sorry, I know it's very distracting.
Graphic hell. Anyways,
That's Joe McHale.
from community.
All right. Same as before. Eventually, it reaches a point where musicians start to show up. This time, several different musicians cycle through, whereas before it was just a single one playing through the entire night. They do seem to play on rotation, different styles, different instruments, things like that. Again, the dance floor does seem to open up and become a little bit more lively as the night takes the city. So, anything you would like to specifically do, or
No, same as before.
okay? Full night's rest. No knock at your door this time, though. Doesn't appear that Alden needs your help just yet. For the sake of keeping things simple, this is your final day. We'll be beginning this session after the events of whatever you did today. So if there is anything you would like to do, well, today is...
No, this time I was actually going to head out to Erlin's family and start talking over things with them.
Okay. Well, in that case, roll a d20 for me.
Here's a d20. There's a d20. 9. Drew?
Yeah, you
9.
as you're making your way towards the city gate, it's when you kind of throw your elbow back a little bit to nuzzle your bag that your elbow hits air and you immediately go, "Oh right, my shield."
All right, I guess I'm heading off to the armor.
Well, you did forget to pick it up previously.
Well, I was a bit preoccupied more than I thought I would be in the afternoon last time.
Making her back to the smith shop, it is just as busy as it was before. Almost immediately, however, you make your way up to the front and see the same ashen-headed younger apprentice who is still working. He notices you and immediately snaps his finger. Arduin, right, yes, quickly just pick it up, and he pulls out from behind one of the forges a very sturdy looking shield, whereas before the top portion was kind of damaged
Chewed
and
up.
almost chewed up. The metal ring that encompasses the buckler has been freshly hammered out, rivets repaired. The wood has now been glossed over with some sort of stain. It's fairly rudimentary, fairly simplistic, but a hell of a lot better looking and a hell of a lot more sturdy than previously seen. All right, that's 2 gold, 5 silver that you're still owing, and yeah, you're good to go.
All right.
Okay. So, making your way out of the city.
I'm sorry. It's almost done.
It's on our way. The guards themselves this time do impose a little bit. Once you remember to mention coils of rope, however, they quickly back off as per Tura's recommendation. You make your way over to the entertainment troupe. Is there anyone specific that you wanted to talk to, or are you just going to...
Actually, mainly Tura.
Tura, okay. This is day 3. If it's early morning on day 3, she is probably not there. Yeah.
Clover?
Asking around the camp, you eventually find Tia, who informs you, no, Tura and Clover left. I'm not exactly sure. They didn't really tell me where. They left yesterday, relatively early in the morning. I haven't seen them since. Left for the city, I should say.
Ophelia?
I haven't done Megan's sessions yet, so I'm actually not sure if she would be there. Yeah, shit, actually. I think this is probably the stop point, because I'm not actually sure if she'll be at the encampment or not.
Because Tura probably will know the most about this kind of shit. They're starting to look like there's a very elven connection to all of this. And what's the name of the school that Ophelia wants to go to?
You mean the Gunnergath Spires?
Yeah, there's a connection to her there too.
Okay. So do you just wait around the encampment, or...
Yeah, I guess I am.
Okay. Eventually, Edvith does make his presence known, being that you're more or less just sitting on the wagons that you both, that everyone procured earlier, waiting, offering if he would like to at least help out with the guard duty, since you're, well, not doing anything.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. It's about mid-afternoon when you do see the familiar forms of Clover and Tura making their way out of the city gate and heading back towards the encampment. Tura looks mentally exhausted, and Clover looks very much just worn out in general. Both barely... Actually, neither of them really notice you during their approach, instead just quickly making their way over towards the... to try and get a late food, or some sort of food in their bellies, both of them appearing quite tired and ravenous.
I'll let you two grab some food then. I think we might have something interesting to talk about later.
Well, there's a lot of that going around. Yes. Talk pertaining to what exactly?
Further adventures. And that's where you drop the credit.
I'm just going to exit Discord just for that. Is that where you want to end?
Honestly, that would be a pretty good place to end, I think.
Okay. Easily done. Depending on Megan and Erlin's sessions, though, we'll see. That might be the pickup point. Might not be. All right. Sweet. Done. Thank you for coming directly in here. All right. You're done. Got your level 3. Got everything else done. Half the session